Welcome to another episode of the Smart Agency Masterclass, a podcast dedicated to you, the digital agency owner that wants to grow and scale faster and have more freedom in your life. And today I have a great episode where we're going to bring on an amazing guest, and we're going to talk about agency retention and retention with employees. How can you keep your employees with your agency longer, because they're the number one resource for your agencies. So let's go ahead and jump into the show. Hey, Rob, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, excited to have you on. So briefly tell us who you are and what do you do?
Yeah, Rob Gaedtke. I'm president and CEO of an agency in Reno, Nevada called KPS3. Also owner of the company. And, we build brands and cool stuff for clients all over the U.S. Quick little size piece to give you a little bit of history there. So we have about 64 full-time employees with roughly 9 million in revenue.
Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and kind of jump into why people are listening, right? Because keeping your talent in your agency is the most important thing. And I even think that's more important than keeping some of the clients. Keep the right talent, they'll keep the clients. So what's work, or I guess tell us some results that you've been seeing over the past couple of years that you guys been tracking.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% on that front. People are bread and butter, right? We're in the service industry, and if your employees are happy, it translates to happy clients. So, we've been really pushing on that front for ever since we started rapidly growing over here. And what we found is that if you focus on some of the right things, right? So we focus on are we winning the place to work? Are we losing our team to other agencies, or are we losing them to different jobs, different passions, right? And then finally, are our folks at KPS3 growing, right? Are we filling the ranks with our own folks, or are we having to backfill those with other people? So those are really the three areas that we've been focusing on.
Great. So how do you retain? What's working for you guys to retain your employees and not lose them to competition? Because I think in the pre-show you were saying in the past 2 or 4 years you've only lost 2 employees to other agencies.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a number that we track pretty heavily, and not because we're saying anything negative about those. There's some great agencies in town, but I think. When you focus on, hey, if they're getting a LinkedIn message or somebody's trying to recruit them, it's our policy to help them. I give recommendations all the time on LinkedIn for current active employees. I think we have a saying that people stay longer on islands with lots and lots of boats. I think so the more we can do with our team to help them grow, help them become more desirable as individuals. Oddly enough, the more they like to stay.
And so how do you do that? Like people listening, they're like, that's great that you mentioned that, but like I have no clue how to, like, do you just pay them a lot?
No, so a couple of things I'll mention. We try and focus on 8 areas. There's, I think the first one is really first and foremost. You have to be in it for the right reason, right? So your goal truly has to be the development of the employee, and whether that comes at a loss of you and you losing the employee or not, you have to believe that. So I think that's one of the most important ones. There's 7 people at KPS3 right now that have left and come back. I'm one of them. Another owner is one of them. And when they left, we all threw parties. We made sure that it was a big damn deal, that they were going to do something that was bettering them. So I think that's one, and that's pretty hard to do. When we talk about some of the other things, there's an idea, right, that somebody doing something else and then leaving you is bad, and I think it's just a terrible thought, and we need to break that because there is some beauty in those contradictions.
Yeah.
One
Y-
of the other pieces that we'll do here, and that's really talk about the financial transparency of the agency, right? So everybody at any time can see our full financial statement. Those are all available. In fact, every new employee, I go over it with them. We talk about how much profit goes back to employees, how much profit goes back to owners, how much profit goes back into the agency. And so when we're doing good, it's great, and when we're doing bad, it's not. And I think that's another area that really does help keep people staying here.
Yeah, we in the mastermind last month, I was talking to one member, and one of her wins, we always start off with wins. She was like, "Hey, we had one of our key employees come back." And I remember when I ran my first agency, I actually was against that. I always said, if you leave me, you're dead to me. Don't ever come back. And I
Mm-hmm.
realized many years ago that was the wrong way, because what happened, and then I was sharing this win with other members in the mastermind, and they were like, "Oh yeah, that happened to me." And it's actually the best thing, because when the employee comes back, they go, "The grass is not greener on the other side. Like, we have it amazing here."
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, I'm totally with you on that one. The other phrase is, that we talk about is not taking things too personal. Shows that you're actually super personally invested in people, right? And I'll hear all the time. We're in Nevada, so there's a lot of casinos around here, and they have a lot of them have policies that when you give your 2 weeks, you're immediately terminated right then. I just think it's such a backward philosophy, right? Because they're not doing it out of spite for you, right? They're not doing it to harm you. It's truly a benefit for them, right? They wouldn't be leaving you if they didn't think it'd make them happier, if they didn't think it would be better for their family. Those pieces. So, I think you're absolutely right. Like, it's easy to go into that and take things personally, but when you step back, it really opens the door to having things down the road. It's also right super short minded. I said 7 people came back to KPS3. Just think about the cost savings there and trying to fill 7 of those positions simply by being kind when they walked out the door. Right. That's a pretty cheap way, honestly, to get people back at your agency.
So, other than letting them kind of have an open door to leave and go see what the world is, and actually come back, what are other things that you're doing in order to, outside of just paying them really well, and
Mm-hmm.
outside of, like you were talking about, transparency and coming in?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think personal growth is definitely a huge one. I think a lot of times folks leave, especially in the agency world, they'll leave, because they want a promotion, or because maybe your agency doesn't have that type of work or whatnot. So a couple of other things. It's pretty clear if somebody wants to grow in an area that maybe we don't have business in. So we've done this several times in the tech space. We'll have talented developers, but you're cranking out WordPress sites and doing some easy stuff, and it's not super challenging. So sometimes we'll take a job at half price or a loss, just because we know they want to work on it, right? And so if you put that in the write-off bucket, you're going to be, you're going to look at it as a negative. But if you put that in the education and learning bucket, yeah, it's benefiting a client, but more importantly, it's benefiting an employee. They're feeling happy, they're going after it. So we'll take those jobs on all the time. And likewise in industries, if there's some industry that somebody's really passionate about, we'll go after and find it, do it for free, whatever it takes to kind of bring that in, because I think a lot of the reasons, or some of the reasons that people are leaving, are just because it's just not fulfilling their heart, or it's not making them smile at the end of the day. So again, if you can do that versus them leaving, recruiting, filling, training, all the other pieces, it's actually a small price to pay.
What are you doing with, like, do you guys do reviews or coaching sessions? How often is the employee meeting with their manager, and how does that go?
Yeah, all the time. It's something that we've worked to sort of perfect. We have something that's called the Crazy Eight. There are 8 strategic initiatives, and growth, and a part of that has been on that radar now for 3 years. So it really means a lot to the folks. So a couple of things. I think the first piece of that is getting them off on the right foot. So we have a 30, 60, 90, 6 month, and a 1 year that are mandatory review pieces. So you come in the door after 30 days, you're at least getting a discussion that's fruitful, right? Keep doing, stop doing, start doing type of a situation. And then at that 60 and that 90, we're talking about it even more and in depth. And then at the 6 month window, you're getting a full 360. And then at the 1 year, and then annually after that. So that's like the formal review piece. But on top of that, everybody's encouraged, and at least weekly one-on-ones we're having with individuals. Everybody has a plan, right? So where do they want to be tomorrow? And then where do they want to be in 5 years, right? So any direct reports, you should know all of those elements. And then finally, there's a lot of discussion on sort of what I just touched on what do you want to do? What do we need to give you more of? Where do you want to grow? Are there conferences? Are there education allowances we can provide? Those pieces to sort of add on top of that. So I think that's really, really important. We've also very open to switching. So during those review pieces, if we catch, man, this person might not be, digging the SEO DMM stuff, maybe they should slide over into maybe reporting, or maybe even dip into the account side. We've had, I want to say 9 people in the last like 5 years sort of switch a path, right? And move trajectories. We even opened a photo video because one of our AEs wanted to start that line of business. So I think that movement piece, if your manager's tracking with you, you can really address those.
Yeah, I always feel that employees will stick as long as they have community, growth opportunity and contribution, right? And then the biggest thing I had to worry about as a leader, when I figured out how to be a leader and always learning, is like how to not demotivate them. So how are you guys making better leaders? Because obviously you guys probably have a couple different levels, right? They're not all coming to one person, and that one person's not doing everything. So how do you make sure it's uniform across the board? Because I feel like when agencies start growing, especially when they get over the 3 million mark, they're in no man's land until they're about kind of where you guys are at. And then you finally get some momentum. So, for those people that are trying to get there or already in there, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, I'm actually doing a talk on stop managing and start leading tomorrow. It's really important to me. I think you hit on a couple of key things, right? Number one, like what actually motivates somebody. And I listened to the speaker a while ago, and they talked about the brain needs to feel challenged, it needs to feel respected and empowered. And it needs to feel cared for and valued. And so we've been basing a lot of things around that, just because you can have a fun agency and it can be wild and great, but like if people aren't challenged, like these are smart people, they want to be pushed, right? And if you're doing cool stuff, but you're micromanaging it, right, they're not empowered. So I think those 3 things are really critical. But to go back to your sort of question, right? We have a fairly flat structure, so 64 people. We have a leadership team with all of the division leads. Then we have a manager's team, and then we have staff. So we really only have 3 levels at the agency. It can get on the creative side. There's one more level, but for the most part, it's fairly flat. And ultimately, I think giving people the opportunity to try management and leadership. We have 2 new folks, especially on the AE side, who said, "Hey, I want to grow, and I want to learn how to manage people and be a leader." So great, we get them on the path, we get them some training, and 2 of those folks now have account coordinators with them that report directly to them. They're coming to our management and our leadership training. And they're learning sort of the process, right? And how to make sure that they are growing and teaching the person that reports to them. So I think that's important, to just give the opportunity. But then I think the the overall piece, right? Like you can manage the heck out of somebody, but at the end of the day, if you're not like inspiring them and helping them, then you're just a manager, and nobody's going to want to work for you, right? So we encourage people to again talk about those goals. Where do they want to be? It's like a huge win if somebody wants to take your job. Like that should be your goal, right? I'm excited for whoever's going to take over the agency. Like I really want that to happen. So I think the other piece is just making sure that it's available, right? That you do actually promote and allow people that opportunity to grow.
Yeah. Well, this has all been amazing. And I think the biggest takeaway for everyone to learn is you got to be open and have the employees set first and really help guide them to wherever they think they want to go, and have them dip their toe in and be like, oh, this manager shit sucks. Like, I don't want to do this. Let me go back to coding.
Right?
I don't want to talk to people. Which I remember all my coders were like that. They'd be like, I want to manage. And then they were like, screw this. I just want to just bang out some code and eat hot dogs or whatever they do. So.
Yep. Our VP of public relations grew the team. And then she said that exact same thing. She said, you know what? I just want to be a practitioner. I'm happy. I did that. Check. And so cool. Now she's in Florida working 30 hours a week.
There you go. Well, Rob, this has all been amazing. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you think would benefit the audience?
You didn't ask me about any personal life here.
Go for it. Well, what do you want to tell us?
Yeah. So I think agency owners, if you're around a fun place, I live in Reno, Nevada. We have employees throughout, but the bulk is in Reno. And if you like to snowboard, if you like to rock climb or see beautiful scenery, consider Reno, Nevada.
Awesome. I love it. I might even come out there, but we got a lot of that in Colorado. So
Exactly.
we just don't have the casinos. Well, I guess we do have the casinos, not like the casinos you guys have though.
Yeah, not like those.
Awesome. Well, Rob, thanks so much for coming on the show. What's the agency website? People can go and check the agency out.
Yeah, KPS3.com.
Awesome. Easy enough. Well, everyone go to their website, check it out. And if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure you take a screenshot of it and share it and tag me on Instagram or whatever channel. And maybe I'll give you a shout out. And also too, if you want to be around amazing agency owners that will share the things that are working with them and be able to see the things you might not be able to see because we're too damn stuck in the weeds, I'd love to invite all of you to go to digitalagencyelite.com and check it out. And this is our exclusive mastermind for agency owners. And until next time, have a swank day.